Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my January 2021 TBR. So, I'm really excited to do this. Clearly, I have to tape this after work one day because I keep changing my mind on my TBR. But okay, this is going to go up. This is it. I have changing up my TBRs this next year, at least for the first quarter. Okay, let's not get over ambitious. In years past, I would put way too many books on my TBR and I would never get to all of them. And then this last year, I made a decision to only make my TBRs 3 to 5 books that are core books, the books that I was really sure I was going to hit. And then everything else was kind of like possibilities. And I'm going to know at the end of the year for sure what my percentage is of how I did. I don't think I did very good either when I shortened my TBRs either. But I still want to see that percentage and see how that goes. But I wanted to do something different to kind of look at the whole month, even if I'm just, I'm picking out, because I always pick out possibilities at the beginning of the month, but sometimes things will change. You'll see something on someone's channel that reminds you of a book you own, or you'll see something on TV and it'll, do that. So I wanted to have the flexibility of mood reading, which is really what I do, but I also want to focus on certain things. So I've seen people do this on paper and I've seen them doing other things, but I've decided to go with a whiteboard for now and to kind of track what happens during the month. So again, I will put the month up here. I just put a line. I don't know why I didn't put January. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on a few things that I want to try to hit during the month, but I'm not I don't have to hit everything. This is more of a thing to look at. Hey, I've already read maybe 3 books that hit a couple of these things, but maybe I don't have one of the other ones and I should really go pick something up because I'm neglecting that part of my my bookshelves. So this is kind of 2021 is a year of series for me. And that is my first prompt because that to me is the biggest deal. I have tried to do that. I was supposed to do that in 2020. I had this whole plan and it totally failed with COVID because I just started getting into it when it hit and then I went off the rails and kind of pretty much forgot about it. And you'll see that in my video about series wrap up, recap of what happened with that and then what I think I'm going to go into this year. And again, this year I've already added one more series that's not in that video. So it keeps changing. But I really want to know how many series I'm starting in a month and how many I'm continuing and how many I am finishing. Miracle of miracles. But continue for me is the next book in the series that I have not read. And so it's not meaning, so it could be the last book in the series that's out, but the series isn't complete. So to me, that is still a continue. That is not a finish. I don't have a category for up to date at this point. I don't think I'll have that many that are up to date except for Natalie Sing. So I didn't put that on here, but maybe later when maybe I recap it, change it at the quarterly, we'll see. So I want to track how many books I'm reading in series. I really want to focus on a lot of series this year because I have so many that I'm in the middle of that I just want to make progress. And a lot of them I could finish that are done, and a lot of them I can catch up on and get done, but I haven't. So I want to do that before I start a whole lot more series, even though there's so many I want to start. I mean, so many that I own. So again, these are all books mostly that I own that are on my shelves and I want to get through. So series is one of my biggest goals this year is to focus on. My next one is classics. Yesterday you would have seen, or hopefully you saw the 12 classics I hope to read in 2021. So this is also something I want to focus on, is to make sure I'm remembering to read classics. So it's not that I don't read, I read classics all year round, but I like having a check mark if I do read, or if I look at it getting maybe to the middle to the end of the month, and I'll be able to say, oh, I haven't read a classic yet. And then I can look to see if there's, if there's something I want to read for that time period. I just want to, I'm having the flexibility that I don't have to do it right off, but I also want to be able to say, hey, I haven't picked one up yet, maybe I should, and kind of prompt me to do it. So that's kind of what this is, kind of a prompt board for me. Prompt me to get stuff done. So I have pre-1900, so that to me is a classic, and then the 1900s we'll see about when I was born is a modern classic. We're not putting the date down anyway. You can guess. Anyway, so then I also want to work on my translated books. I have so many that I want to read and that I own. I'm going to participate loosely in the Invisible Cities project. I saw this on Natalie at The Curious Reader. So I will have her video linked down below, about her announcement video for that. I'm definitely going to do it for the first couple months and just see if that works for me. If not, I just want to read translated works. I have a lot of books on my shelf that are translated and I really enjoy them. So I do want to get through a lot more of those. So I thought, again, I put a prompt on here because that is to me something important to me. So I want to read more of that. Nonfiction is definitely something I always want to work more on and reading more. I definitely don't want to be one of those people who only reads it for Nonfiction November. So I want to read it all year round. Most of my audiobooks do tend to be nonfiction. So, but like right now, I'm not in an audiobook mood. So I want to make sure I'm picking up physical books as well. So I want to be able to do both. But I want to mark down that I am getting to a nonfiction book that month, even if I don't want to listen to an audiobook. So that's kind of why that's there, just to remind me. Historical fiction. I bought a lot of historical fiction this fall. I just went into a kick, and I have not read a lot of historical fiction in the last 2 years. I mean, I've read stuff here and there, but just not enough. And I am so fascinated by a lot of series that I've seen recently that I picked up the first book in, and also just some standalones, but I just want to read them. So I decided I better put historical fiction on my list, and I'm counting this as also historical romance. Even though they're not quite the same, I bought a lot of historical romance because it is one of my favorite genres of romance, that subgenre. So I want to make sure I'm reading it because it is, I tend to read more paranormal romance than I read historical romance, and I want to make sure I'm reading the historical stuff. So again, it's going to be kind of both. I just didn't write it that way, but I know that in my head. I have a lot of ebooks. I just recently counted up that I have over 300. I'm not going to say it's quite a ways over 300 ebooks that I have never read. I would say a good 100 of those are books that I want are like high on my TBR that I would really like to read. So I want to make sure that I'm picking up at least one ebook a month just to make sure I'm using my reading those books. And again, some of them are really short, just little romances. Some are little like shifter romances, which are some of my favorite. And some are some really good fantasy and sci-fi that I've got on really great deals, but I haven't read them yet. So I want to make sure I remember that they're there, and I pick up at least one a month. Then again, I want to pick up a lot of my bigger books. So again, I did all those videos on the 700 plus, 800 plus, 900 plus, and 1,000 plus of books that I have on my shelf. And I have over 60 that are in that range. So I want to be able to start seeing that I'm picking them up or I'm not. And I want to see that because I have a lot. And then I want to also track my 600 and my 500 because again, Tome Topple comes out several times a year, done by Sam at Thoughts on Tomes, and those are all over 500. And I do have a tendency to pick up just something over a little bit over 500 for those. But I really have a lot of 600 page books and a lot of 700. And there's March of the Mammoths, which I'm going to be picking up a huge book for, that. So I just want to mark up that I'm getting to some of the bigger books on my TBR. I think it's something I've been neglecting. I've been collecting a lot of really big books, and I really want to get through some of them. I also want to continue doing 5-star predictions. I have one more book that I need to finish before I can finish my video and then wrap it up and then do another one. But it's something I want to do at least once a month, hopefully, once I get back on track. So we'll see. This one's kind of an iffy. That's why it's at the bottom where I can erase it because I'm not sure how that'll go. And then I want to mark down how many rereads I have because I'm a big rereader, and I look back at my list for this year, and there's some months where I only read one book, but I always read at least one. And then there's some months I read 5 and a plus, it just depended on the month. So I want to see how many rereads I have and then see how it correlates with what I'm checking off. Now, again, I can double check things off. Like if it's a book that's over 700 pages and it's also a translated work of, a classic or something, and I can, so I can like check off like 2 or 3. If it's in a series, I get to check that off. I can check off like, 3 or 4, easily on some of them. But I want to make sure I'm hitting things. So I want to see at the end of the month how many things I got to, but also how many I neglected, and see what I need to maybe focus on in the next month. I don't know. We're going to try it. As I said, I'm going to do this for about 3 months and see how it goes. So that was a long introduction to that. So I'm going to now I'm going to do my January TBR. So I'm going to kind of go through this pretty quickly because already this video is so long. I'm so long-winded. So for Invisible Cities, the translated works, I want to pick up at least one of these Japanese books that are about cats. I have If Cats Disappear from the World by Genki Kawamura, and this is translated by Eric Sellens. So this has to do with a man who is approached by the devil. I think the man has something terminal, and he has to wish something away every day to live, and I think cats are one of them. I'm not sure. They also have the Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikawa. This is translated by Philip Gabriel. So I don't know really what this book about. I thought it was about a man who goes on a road trip, but he's not sure where he's going. So I don't know. Maybe it's the cat that doesn't know where he's going. I don't know. I've heard really good things about both of them, and I want to get to them. If I feel ambitious later in the month and I have time, I might pick up the Makioka Sisters by Junichiro Tazunaki. This is translated by Edward G. Sedensticker. So this is again a modern classic. It was 1943 to 48 that it was published in Japan. So and it's about four sisters. I don't know what my cats are doing. Four sisters who live in Osaka pre-World War II, and their lives and their relationships and things. So I mean, I might get to that, but that's kind of far-fetched, but it could happen. For historical fiction, I might read As Bright as Heaven by Susan Meisner. I just saw, or a couple days ago, Tia All the Books put up her video of 8 backlist books that she wants to read. I'll have that one linked down below as well. And she talked about that there might be a read-along on this in January on Instagram. So if that happens, I have the book ready to go. I think it was tentatively maybe the 11th, the week of the 11th, but we'll see. I really want to get to this. This is 1918 Philadelphia, and I think a family that is dealing with the Spanish flu. So it's definitely a book that I've bought that I meant to read. I haven't read it yet. One of the books that is for sure on my TBR is a big translated classic, is and a series, the Vicomte du Baglione by Alexandre Dumas. This is translated from the French by David Coward. This is a book that I meant to read all year, didn't get to it. It's the third book in the D'Artagnan romances. So Three Musketeers, 20 years after, then this one. I was enjoying this. I read about 100 pages before Christmas, and then I just was reading too many books at the time, and I thought, okay, I need to put this down. So this is one I'm going to finish for sure in January. So this is one of my for sure books because I want to get this done, and it's my last 5-star prediction book. So I need to read that. My nonfiction for sure this month is going to be the Life and Times of Hollywood's celebrated costume designer Edith Head. I can't say his last name, David. I've tried it like 4 times, can't get it. Anyway, I got this after reading a book about Breakfast at Tiffany's and Audrey Hepburn and Truman Capote, and they mentioned about the costumes because she had a designer that she worked with really that kind of took over, and Edith Head didn't get to do as many things as she wanted to do on the film. But I wanted to read about her life and times, things that she did in Hollywood, because she won like 30 Academy Awards or something insane like that. I don't know. But it has like pictures. It has pictures of actresses and things and people in costumes and drawings. And I just think it'd be really fascinating. And again, I'm not big into fashion, but I want to read that book. And then I have 2 books that I would like to reread. These are, hopefully, I want to read the next book in the Sheriff Dan Rhodes mysteries by Bill Kreider. This is Cursed to Death. This is number 3. I am rereading the series for the first time. I read these all, well, I mean, I would say the first 7 or 8 I read like all in a row, and then every year and a half to 2 years, I would get another book, and I read them consistently until the last book came out 2 years ago, number 25. So it's one of my favorite mystery series. It's a small Texas county where the sheriff is the protagonist, and he is just awesome. I just love him. He's just so down to earth and normal. And then of course there's murders all over the place, but you get to meet all the townspeople and the people he works with, and it's just a great series. I really love it, and they're really short and easy. But I'm rereading them, so I want to read number 3. I also want to read the second book in the Destroyer Man series by Taylor Anderson. So this is an alternate history series where two World War II destroyers get sucked into kind of a portal, and they go to this alternate world or Earth that has what do I want to say? Evolution went a different way. And they're one of the best ensemble cast books that I've read. And again, it's a lot of military but it's action, and they're just funny. I just love them. Anyway, and so I'm rereading the first couple books so I can continue on this series. So again, that reread is to help with that. And then I would like to continue in the Discworld series. I have not got to the Tiffany Aiken books. So the first one, and the only one that I own, is We Free Men by Terry Pratchett. So I don't know anything about this except it's about Fairland and Tiffany and these little blue guys. I don't know. So I have not read any of these because I think these are more, on the more middle grade side of his books. But I still want to read them, at least this one, to see if I want to read the Tiffany Aiken books. Again, I'm coming down to the last of the Terry Pratchett's, and I probably want to read them all. We'll see what happens. So I want to read that one. And if I want a historical romance, I want to read the number 4 in the Bridgerton series, which is Romancing Mr. Bridgerton by Julia Quinn. So these characters, I really want to see what happens because of one little scene in book 3, and I'm like, I want to know what happens to them. Anyway, so those are all the books and my plan for my TBRs in the future. Let me know what you think, if you think this is going to work for me, or if you think I'm just going to fail at this miserably, and I don't know. And if you think any of these books that are really good, let me know about the 2 Japanese cat ones. Let me know if you've read either one and which one I should pick up. I don't know. I've had both of them on myself for like over a year, and I haven't read either one of them. So, and let me know if you're doing the Invisible Cities. That would be kind of cool. And as I said, that's kind of it. So let me know what you think, and and again, we'll check in. We'll probably check in February to see how I did the first time. But I'm really kind of excited to see if this will work for me. I don't know. We'll find out. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.